Good morning, everybody. I hope we're having a wonderful day. It's been a little bit of an adventure for me already because I had to go get my oil changed, and the dealership, tried to turn a simple oil change into a several $1,000 ordeal. Not thrilled. So it took over 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours just for the oil change, and they did a brake fluid and another fluid. But 2.5 hours. So I'm glad I got there super early. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been making it here today. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Good morning, Katie Crafts. Uh, I know that there's like an ad reel now starting in the beginning because I hit 1,000 subscribers this week. So I'm sorry for the whole ad reel, but I haven't quite figured out the whole ads things with lives. Hopefully we don't get interrupted in the middle of whatever I'm doing. If you do, let me know and I'll see what I can tweak, but I can't do anything about it during the live. I did ask a couple friends their opinion on options, and hopefully I did it right. So we will see. Good morning, Donnell. Katie asked if they changed my blinker fluid. I always keep my blinker fluid topped up. I complain when other people do run out of their blinker fluid because, that's an important thing that you need to have available. Good morning, Karen. And hi, Nightbot. Thank you for being in the chat today because I finally got you figured out. Good morning, Mom and Pop. How are you, Laura Lynn? Oh, but yeah, it's been a crazy day so far. I was on with my good friend Stephanie of Quilting with Stephanie Stitches last night. She had her 20,000 celebration, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good chats, talked about some controversial subjects, but it was a lot of fun. Good morning, Jackie. So, what I'm hoping to work on today, we'll see how far I get worked on it, is last month in the Fort Worth Fabric Studio the subscription box, they gave us this really cute fat quarter bundle, and it was called Lemon Bouquet. It had these fabrics in it, and then an awesome leaf. Let me see if I can get these laid out so that you can see it in a minute. This really fun print. Little flowers. Lemons. And this low volume. So let me switch to the other camera real quick. So this is all of them together. And I found this pattern on the interwebs called Simply Done. Yeah, Simply Done. I have the link to it down in the description. It's a very simple pattern. It's just one size block, and then I'm using this really cute bee as the background. And you put background on both sides of a whole bunch of blocks, and then you sew the blocks together, rotating them every other in order to come up with a really cool design. So that's what I decided to do with the fat quarter bundle, and hopefully get one of the fat quarter bundles that we get in the box quilted up and done, because this is going to be a really fun project. And this is the print that I picked for the backing because it was so cute and so awesome. I just haven't looked to see if it's going to be a sideways backing or if it's going to go on correctly, because I didn't see. Um, you don't get to see it on the bolt. My local quilt shop doesn't carry this, and I ordered it from Fort Worth Fabric Studio just as I got to QuiltCon, and it arrived, but I haven't pulled it out yet to see if it's going to be sideways or backwards. So let's see what else is going on. Good morning, Jacqueline. Good morning, Designing Jay, and good morning, Ingrid. Good morning, Cynthia. She says she saw us last night. Donnell, good morning. She says, as a beekeeper, she approves, especially since honeybees help pollinate the fruit plants trees. Yes, I am pro bee, except for carpenter bees because they like to dig holes in places that they shouldn't. But, you know, I can't say that I've been stung by an actual bee. I've been stung by a wasp, which is technically bit. And then, yellow jackets, which I think are technically in the wasp family, maybe. But basically, I don't think I've been stung by a true bee. But it's a little fun every now and then because Georgia Tech is here and they are the yellow jackets. So occasionally I'll try to reference them as the honeybees. My next door neighbor went to Tech, so it's a lot of fun just to mess with them. Yes, Jackie, these lemons are so cute. When I saw the fabric, I was like, what am I going to do with this? I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. And I just started searching for patterns that does 6 fat quarters, because this was a 6 fat quarter bundle. And the end size of this quilt, I'm looking at it right now, says it's going to be 51 by 68. And the way that this pattern is written, it's really nice because they give you cutting instructions for the various pre-cuts that you have. So you can maximize the amount of fabric in waste. There was almost no waste out of each of the fat quarters because of the size that you're cutting. I almost gave the size away, and you're not supposed to do that. But the lap size requires 48 blocks, so that makes it a really nice. And it's got instructions for all the way up to king. I can't quite see this as a king size quilt. Well, I can see it as a king size quilt, but I wouldn't want it as a king size quilt. Katie says it's lovely spring fabric. Ingrid says that she loves that fabric selection. I didn't pick the fabrics, I just got the fabrics. But I did, like I said, find the little honeybees as part of the background. So that's what I'm planning on stitching up while we chit chat. If I can find my foot pedal. So yeah, back from QuiltCon. That's why I wasn't around last week. QuiltCon was an amazing event, though it was also a little exhausting because so much to do and so much going on. My ADHD was a little overdrive. I walked by people and I would hear, "Hey Russ," and I would get down a handful more steps and then realize, oh, somebody said hi to me. And I would have to turn around and figure out who I missed or that. So if you said hi and I didn't hear you, I apologize. It was sensory overload. So much going on and so much awesomeness. I got to run into my friends Paul and Andy. Andy used to be part owner of a quilt shop here, And she and Paul together now own Sewing Doc, which is a basically it's an online training facility where you can learn how to service your own machines, because apparently it's getting harder and harder to find places that service machines. A lot of the places are going, I don't want to say going under, but the folks who do the servicing are starting to age out of wanting to work. That's one of the ways that she describes it. And the younger generation isn't getting into the maintenance aspect of things. So people need to learn how to service their machines, or in some ways go even further. It's also super awesome for folks who live far from their dealer. That's an easy way to describe it. A lot of the rural towns and stuff like that, where you may have to drive an hour or even longer to get to your dealer in order to get to your machine serviced. So that's what their business model is. They have online courses and stuff, and it was just exciting to be able to go see them. I hadn't seen them since last year's QuiltCon. I got to their booth and Andy had turned her head and saw me, and they stopped what they were doing and gave me a tack hug. And I'm apologizing to the person who is at their booth who they were talking to. I was like, I didn't mean for them to like start ignoring you for half a second. I was going to wait until you were done before I said hi. But it was great seeing them. I saw a bunch of content creators. That was a lot of fun. Some of them I saw, and I was like, I'm too small of a channel, so I'm just not going to go and say hi, because you probably don't know who I am. And then, I ran into Stephanie and Shannon. Stephanie saw me, I didn't see them. And we hung out a bit. So there was a lot going on at QuiltCon. And next year's Phoenix, they have not announced 2026's QuiltCon. Contrary to what Google says, if you go into the Googles and say, where is QuiltCon 2026? It is going to say Raleigh. And if you click on the link and see why it says that, it's showing the 2024 location. Google isn't smart enough to understand that it's last year's news. So the 2026 location is not going to be announced until the spring. If you want to know the location when everybody else does, you need to subscribe to the Modern Quilt Guild's newsletter. Or you just wait until all the social media people start talking how they want to go to whatever place it's going to be 2025. Not certain if I'm going to go to Phoenix, as Laura comes in and says, good morning from Arizona. Phoenix is a 4-hour or so plane trip for me, and my ADHD does not like to stay on planes that long. I don't mind the trips. It's just I get so bored when I'm stuck in one spot for 4 hours. I get antsy in conference rooms. I've got that jiggly leg syndrome where if I'm bored and just sitting around, my leg will just start shaking. And I get yelled at by somebody who said, why are you shaking the table? As you know, that happened to me while we were out at dinner while I was at QuiltCon. But if I end up somehow getting enough money, I may end up doing it, but I'm not going to hold my breath for QuiltCon. The other big thing is I'm flying to Massachusetts next year in May because both my niece and my sister are graduating high school. And I have to be there. Which reminds me, I had to put a other cool tidbit about my niece in my vlog tomorrow, because what was it, Tuesday? Wednesday last week, my sister says, look, your niece is here. And I pulled it up and I'm like, oh, well, that's exciting. So I will share that little bit of information tomorrow in my weekly vlog. Good morning, Deborah. Yes, Stephanie had an awesome celebration last night. It was very exciting. The one exciting thing that I told her after the fact is at one point there was over 220 people in the chat watching. And that's always exciting when you see like metrics like that. She was too busy, chatting and keeping the conversations moving and all of that, that she didn't have a chance to take a look at those counts. But I did tell her. I didn't want to tell her in the middle of the live. That way she didn't, feel overwhelmed. Thank you, Deborah. That color is an Xbox themed color called Achievement Unlocked from OPI. Not sponsored. I like purples, and when I saw this color, I was like, ooh, I want to try that. And it took me a while to find some of the color because it was one of those limited edition things. Although I think it's now permanent. And it's one of those colors that just really I like. Though when I go get my toes done at the nail salon, they don't have OPI, they use D&D. Yeah, I think it's called D&D. And the color that I get there is their color number 118, and it's called Unicorn Lovely. So 1, unicorns love unicorns, and 2, 118 was my grandmother's house number when we were growing up. So I was like, it's destiny that I need to have this color on my nails for that. It's more of a lavendery purple, so it doesn't look great on my fingers, but it looks great on my toes. Oh, I got another one I can do. I just want to see what a couple of these blocks look like as we get them done. Because it's always fun to see what it's going to look like. I also turn on my iron so I can press it. This morning, though, I think I need a 10-year-old or something. Because I'm remembering that I was able to do this as a kid, but I can't as an adult. At QuiltCon, I bought stickers, and I was going to put it here, but I spent 5 minutes trying to get the sticker off the back, and I can't. So I I'm like a 10-year-old can do this in 2 seconds, and I can't do it in 10 minutes. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that. Good morning, Denise, who says she needs to schedule a pedicure herself. I'm overdue. I normally do my pedicures on a Monday or Friday that I have off when I can get those scheduled. And I haven't had a decent Monday or Friday off since December, because that's when the last time I got my pedicure done, right before Stephanie's retreat. And I try to schedule a day off once a month to get it done, but that doesn't always happen. Especially with these crazy projects that they've had us going on. So to preview how these blocks will go, one block goes that way, and one block goes this way. And then the third block will go this way, as if we can fit that much on my little space here. So I think that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm probably going to go into chain piecing mode. That way I can have them up on a design wall or bed or design space and fit those up. I also didn't cut quite enough of the background because I didn't start cutting until after Stephanie's live last night, who has just appeared in the chat. Good morning, Stephanie. Denise says she's going to a solar eclipse festival in Arkansas in April and is hoping to be wearing her chacos again? I don't know what a chaco is. Need prettier toes. Charlotte says, congrats on the 1,000. Thank you, Charlotte. Oh, and Charlotte's got a good tip for getting the backing off stickers. Score the backing paper with a pen. These are pretty thick backing papers, so I'll try that. Just because it's, I'm clearly not going to turn down a taco. I had Taco Bell for breakfast. Good morning, Sally. Nice of you to join us. Thank you. So yeah, I had Taco Bell this morning after all the car dealership shenanigans. It was delicious. And I got my Baja Blast, which I always joke looks like the color of toilet cleanser. Chacos are amazing sandals. Denise lives in them all summer. I live in Crocs flip-flops all year, but they're not the Croc flip-flops that look like Crocs. And I will show you. They've got a cloth Okay, the technical term is the thong. So they don't look like Crocs, but they are definitely Crocs. In fact, it says on the bottom, Crocs. They are so comfortable. They canceled school for the solar eclipse. We had a solar eclipse when I was in high school and they didn't cancel it. I was so disappointed. I mean, it wasn't a full eclipse where I was that time, but I remember one of the tricks that they say is you can create like a little pinhole in a piece of cardstock and focus the pinhole image on the ground or on another flat surface, and you will see the current shape of the sun with the eclipse in it. And I just remember walking home from school and the leaves on the tree were making little mini pinholes that were crescent shaped like the sun. I thought that was so cool. And then I know the last solar eclipse that I was close enough part of was, what was that, 2017, 2018, 20 something. And I happened to have the day off of work because the previous day was a wrestling pay-per-view. And if I'm watching a wrestling pay-per-view, I'm not going to fall asleep easily, and I'm like, I don't want to be dead for work the next day. And then I later find out, oh, it's the solar eclipse day. Okay, I will watch it. So we had the super blackout sunglasses, and that was pretty cool. There was also some strange, if you take a picture with your phone in the right angle, you had like a after image of the solar eclipse on your image, on your picture as well. Because I took a couple of those and I was like, oh, there's that little after image. Photography is amazing. Sally says they've sold out all the hotels in Erie. People are coming up from Pittsburgh to see the eclipse. That's what it was. A friend of mine used to live in Lake Placid, New York. And she recently moved to Colorado. And I told her that I was upset with her because we were supposed to be making plans that I was going to come visit her in Lake Placid for the solar eclipse, since it was going to be going straight through where she lived. So Veronica, if you're watching, I'm still mad at you for that. Denise is excited, super excited about the festival, and is going to be a vendor there. Oh, yes, Denise. I keep apologizing. I need to tell you thank you. I got the pins that you made. They are gorgeous. So I'm super excited that you're able to be vending there because those are some awesome pens. I think I need to do a video segment in one of my weekly vlogs that says, these are the awesome things that I've gotten recently, because they don't necessarily fall into I've made big purchases and I want to make everybody jealous and they'll go out and buy. Because John from Guys Craft 2 Thursday night accused me of enabling him. Because he saw some of the stuff that I posted from QuiltCon. He goes, I want that. So he went and bought a few things. But a friend of mine was out in, or he's helping another friend clean out the house after a family member passing. And there's a whole bunch of quilting stuff, and he sent me a picture of a kit and said, "Do you want this?" And my first reaction was, "How much?" And he's like, "No, it's she, she bought this and she never got around to making it. It's free." I was like, "I'm not going to turn down free." So I have to get some of those done, or some of that acknowledged in a video. Stephanie says they're expecting 1 million people to come to her area, smack in the middle of the viewing area. It's gonna be cray cray. I would say it's like somebody's never seen a solar eclipse before, but most of us haven't. Because even when it was here in Atlanta, we weren't in the full like center of the eclipse. We were off to the side, so we didn't get a full eclipse. I just kind of find it amusing that, 5 or 6 years ago, they knew exactly where the solar eclipse is coming is going to be passing through. Not just that we're going to have an eclipse, but exactly the path. Yet there's other things that people are like, oh, scientists don't know what they're talking about. Obviously, the Earth is flat. Scientists don't know what they're talking about. The next one isn't going to be for another 20. Wow. So we've had a few in a short time, and then we'll have a 20-year drought. I'm assuming that means a 20-year drought for the Americas, not, for all eclipses. I was annoyed the last couple lunar eclipses. It's been rainy here. This fabric being directional, I wonder if I could lay it out so they're all going to go in the same direction. Or if I'm going to be forced to put some of them to the side. It's called a design choice. So what is everybody else working on? Denise has pens in her future. I know this afternoon Stephanie is starting a awesome sew along with a Corey Yoder pattern. These things are very easy to chain piece. I just looked to see how far I've gotten through my pile. When I get done with this pile, I will be halfway through one side. It helps that they are pretty long seams. But not too long that they feel uncomfortable. Jeannie is working on her first legit kit. Which legit kit are you working on? And Donnell is making rope coaster sets. There was a booth at QuiltCon that was selling colored ropes for rope bowls and stuff. And my first reaction was, I've thought about it, but I have no idea where to start. And after seeing the price of the rope, I was suggested just to go buy dollar store clothesline to start my first project. And then I can figure out if I need to go and buy something different. Ah, Jeannie got the shrooms. I almost wonder if you could color the shrooms like the Super Mario mushrooms. But then it wouldn't be as much fun unless it had, a Mario next to it. Yes, Stephanie, the rope was gorgeous, but very, very expensive. Denise is also sewing, trying to finish some gifts for Millersburg. I should start the gifts for Georgia because I've seen Steven has already started. I did buy the materials for what I'm going to make this year. I just haven't had a chance to get into it. Jackie is rearranging things because she needs space for an embroidery machine. Since her dad started declining, it is full from stuff from his room. Time to declutter. I need to declutter a little bit. My kitchen has gotten to be a little bit of a clutter zone, but I had to do a fairly thorough cleaning yesterday morning. I hadn't had a chance to go grocery shopping since QuiltCon. Mostly because I was too exhausted when I got home to go out and deal with grocery people. And the only days that I need breakfast here is Wednesday and Friday because Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I can get breakfast in the office. So I was like, and lunch is in the office anyway, except for, the days here. And I had like a couple frozen pizzas. But anyway, yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday. I went to Chick-fil-A for breakfast because it's right over there, even though the one that's right over there can take upwards of 20 minutes to get through the drive-thru, which that seems ridiculous to me. I grabbed my food, grabbed my beverage, got home, put everything on the counter, and because I have medication that needs to be taken with food, what I will do is I will put everything down, get the soda ready to take my medicine, and take that and then bring everything upstairs to start work. I went to push the straw into the lid, and I don't know what I did, but the entire cup came toppling over, fell onto the counter, shredded into pieces, which is amazing for their styrofoam cups. and I had Coke Zero all over my counter, all over the drawer fronts in front of the counter, and all over the floor. So I lost that little bit of caffeine, which I've needed this week because I'm still exhausted from QuiltCon. But I had to spend all that time cleaning up however many ounces of soda that large cup is. And let me tell you, the Bounty commercials, they didn't feel like they were pulling up as much liquid as in the commercials. But I did get it cleaned up, and thankfully it was a, zero sugar beverage, so it didn't get all sticky. That is one advantage of the zero sugar, besides the calories, is it doesn't get sticky. That's why the Mentos is usually done with Diet Coke. Regular Coke will give the exact same effect as Diet Coke with all the fizzies in Mentos, but Diet Coke without the sugar doesn't get sticky, so it's a lot easier to clean up. And I tell you, I prefer that there's a little bit of a taste difference between Coke Zero and regular Coke, and I prefer the slightly different taste of Coke Zero. Today is Denise's birthday. I would sing that song, but apparently you could get copyright stricken because of that, so I will not. No plans today except for organizing beads and sewing. Ooh, leftover carrot cake. Carrot cake is healthy because it's got carrots in it. Oh, Deborah was putting eggs away and tripped over the dog. Yesterday was Percy's birthday, and he got a birthday card from Chewy. He turned 13. I gave him, even though he's not supposed to get it, some wet food as a birthday treat. Good morning, Sue. Glad you were able to catch me live. Don't make the carrot cake for breakfast? Oh, didn't make the carrot cake for breakfast. Of all the cakes, carrot cake is probably one of my favorites. I don't know why. It's just good. Okay, it's the cream cheese icing. Leftovers are a great day to start the day. A great way to start the day. I'm not generally a leftovers fan. And it's mostly because when you heat something up in the microwave, it gets a different texture and doesn't taste the same. I use my microwave for two things: kitchen timer, popcorn. Okay, and heating up soup, because soup doesn't get soggier. But I would prefer to par cook something and then do a finish cook on it as my leftovers. I was doing that when I was doing the Blue Apron boxes. I would figure out what I could part cook and what I had to fully cook. Since Blue Apron boxes are for two, and I was cooking for one. And I had friends say, are you going to bring your leftover Blue Apron to work for lunch the next day? And I was like, I can't justify this amount of a price for a lunch meal when, I can go downstairs to the food court and pay less than that for a lunch meal. Oh, Denise has the best carrot cake, and she would have made carrot cake for everyone at the retreat. Well, last year I made pineapple. Well, I say last year, it was, 2 months ago. I made pineapple bacon pound cake that everybody seemed to enjoy. I don't know if I'd make it again because there was so much food. If you went hungry at the Georgia retreat in December, you were trying not to eat. Because Steven brought Canadian snacks. The ketchup chips were a little weird. They were just a little sweet. But the all in were really good. And I yelled at my sister for not telling me that those existed because she takes family trips to Canada every couple of years. And yeah, so many people made so much food. Though right now I should ping them. Friends of mine are in somewhere in Canada right now. Because she posted on her Facebook/TikTok some of the stuff with her and her wife learning about Canada. And I'm like, I really should ping them and say, hey, can you bring me back some of this and some of this? But I don't know if I think they flew up there, so I don't want to impede on their luggage. Which those friends I thought was kind of amusing because my sister sent a TikTok one day. And I was like, "Oh, you follow my friends." And she goes, "You know them?" I was like, "Yeah, I used to work with her wife." And she goes, "Tell them I said hi." Which that tells you it's a small world when, well, it also shows how much my sister and I are alike. My poor sister is in the middle of tax season right now. She's a tax accountant. Okay, I am getting close to another bobbin. Okay, I got enough thread up there. So my plans for the rest of the day, we've got a whole bunch of YouTubers that are going live between today and tomorrow. Laura Lynn, who was in here earlier of Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, she's going live. Normally it's Saturdays at 1 Eastern. So I'm assuming that's her normally. I know every now and then they do a 6 hour where they go earlier. Stephanie of Quilting with Stephanie Stitches, she normally on a Saturday goes live at 5, but because of her quilt along that she's doing with the Corey Yoder pattern, she's going live at 3, so she can have a little bit of extra time to get some good progress on the quilt. Kind of like I'm happy that I've gotten a whole lot of good progress on this quilt. Let's see. Tomorrow, being Sunday, my friend Shannon usually does a Sunday brunch live. However, she is going to be doing a Great British Bake Off as part of her birthday celebration. But she is going to have a video going live or going published, becoming active at 11. So we will not be without her for a weekend. Stephen and Walter, they will be going live at 4 o'clock tomorrow. They have a whole lot of fun shenanigans with their lives, and you can get into a little bit of trouble if you start talking, sports ball and stuff there. Ooh, I wonder how upset they would be if we started talking about March Madness. It is March, yes. Although, I don't even know when March Madness officially starts. And then sometime, I think it's 6 o'clock Eastern and whatever time, Phoenix time, Guys Craft 2 does a Sunday live. So I'm excited to catch that because they do a lot of fun stuff. John's done a lot of shopping. I've been accused of enabling him, but they've got a lot of fun stuff that they are getting settled into, and they are in the process of becoming summer homeowners. And you can't spell homeowner without meow. So I'm looking forward to their live to see what exciting things they've been up to. And Sunday evening at some point, I will be publishing my weekly vlog, which is going to have a fortnight's worth of stuff because I didn't get a real vlog up last week. I did publish my QuiltCon quilts videos last weekend. So many gorgeous quilts at QuiltCon. But I didn't do a weekly update. So you will get a fortnight's worth of information and kit updates then. And throughout the week, there is a lot of fun stuff going on. It's New York Beauty Week. Oh, tomorrow evening as well is the Carnival Sew Along on Stephanie's channel. for clue 8 of Carnival. I gotta remember that. Gotta remember that. Gotta remember that. It's hard to believe that we are on clue 8 already. So we have clue 8 that just came out. Clue 9 will be coming out the end of the month. And then the end of April, we'll figure out how to get it all put together. I like how people are already trying to put the clues together to see, do they think it'll go this way? Do they think it'll go that way? There was somebody at QuiltCon who said, I think there's an error in the pattern because I think it goes together this way, but this doesn't quite work right. I like to think there's not an error with the pattern, that people are just don't know how it's really going to fit together. Because if clue 10 starts out with "Get out, Jack," a lot of people will be upset. And while I am watching all those awesome lives, and also tomorrow, Steven, my friend Steven of the Idiot Quilter, is going to be hosting a men's sew day. So I'm hoping to get some extra sewing done. Maybe start getting these blocks put together, because they're going together very quickly. These are the last couple pieces that I'll be sewing on the first side. So after this, it's just getting the other side done and then put them together. So you can get all the blocks made for the small in probably 2 hours. And because these cuts are large, it took almost no time to cut them. Good morning, Beverly. How are you this morning? Charlotte is working on clue 2 of Tree of Life. That came out yesterday. You're right. I don't remember seeing it in my inbox. I'm going to have to go look, because it should have been published and sent out to us yesterday. Time to check my spam. For Tree of Life, I am doing 2 different colorways. One of them is for a coworker of mine. She's wanted to quilt for a while. That one is Purple Mist. And then the one for me is Radiance, because I like the really bright colors. And, I'm all for that craziness. And it's amazing how different the 2 colorways look. I mean, I've been saying that for Carnival, because I'm doing 2 colorways. I'm doing Sky Diver or Flyer for my sister, and I'm doing Ferris Wheel for myself, and they look completely different, even though they're the exact same pattern. So I have 2 little strips left before I have to start cutting more. So I think this is a really good stopping point. I will, start cutting these apart. I'll cut more strips of the bees and get to the front camera. And like I said, this is what the block looks like. It is a lot of fun. It goes very easily. I still like the way that this gets framed. And you put one vertically, one horizontally, and then vertically again in whatever pattern that they tell you to, or however many quantities they tell you to based on the size you want. And it's a quick and easy quilt. uh, like I said, I've gotten all of one side sewn in this hour that we've been together. So it will be, I can take another quick hour, so the other side, however long it takes to press, and sew them into columns and rows. So I'm very excited about this. It's giving me excuses to work with the stuff that we get in our subscription boxes. Some of the subscription boxes are more project based, so they give you the certain pre-cut fabric bundles, and then they say, here's the pattern to go with it. Then you have to make a separate purchase. This one, they at least gave us some fabric, but they didn't say, here's the pattern we suggest with it. So it makes you do a lot more thinking. And it's just been a lot more fun. Still have to do a second purchase, but they do give you a full project to work on in there, so you don't have to do a second purchase for the project that they include in there. So that's what I really like about the Fort Worth Fabric Studio boxes. But I am going to end it here. So don't forget to check out all the lives out there that I mentioned a few moments ago, and to check out, all the content creators, even if I didn't mention them, because there's so much always going on the weekends that you need to just support everybody that you can. I hope you have an awesome weekend and get out there and play outside if you can, or obviously always play in your sewing room. Have a great weekend. Bye.